Now at noon, new developments in the alleged kidnapping of a Garland County teen. 2 people arrested and charged, a vehicle impounded, and the victim back home with her family. The latest on the investigation. Mixed reaction from travelers now that masks are no longer required on planes, how the CDC is responding. And a new blood screening for cancer could save millions of lives. A closer look at the test designed to detect dozens of cancers before there are signs of disease. That's coming up a little later. Thanks for watching THV11 News at Noon. I'm Michael Aaron. Let's start with meteorologist Nathan Scott over in the Weather Center. Nathan, a lot of us have seen rain, maybe even a little thunder and lightning this morning, but starting to look a little bit better out there right now.
Good afternoon, Michael. Yeah, it's been a soggy start to our Wednesday. A steady area of lightning, thunder, and heavy rain has been marching its way through the state through the course of the morning. But now we're seeing the back edge of that first batch. There's more showers and storms developing into southwestern parts of the state. And look at the numbers. It is a cool and breezy day around the region with temperatures only into the 50s. But here is the high resolution radar, and we'll zoom in and you can see the heaviest rain now making its way through Jefferson County, about to enter into Arkansas County. We had a good gully washer here in downtown Little Rock just over the past 5 to 10 minutes. Now that has made its way off to the east along with the lightning and thunder. Breezy. We got those winds kicking in from the southeast about 10 to 20 miles per hour. Keep that rain gear close by. Eventually, we'll see the temperatures climb up into the low 60s, but that's not going to happen until around sunset. Warmer air is making its way in here from the south and southwest, and it will be much warmer going into your Thursday. I'll have more on that coming up.
Let's get to a THV11 update. New details here at noon. An Arkansas man and Tennessee teen are in custody, charged in connection with the alleged kidnapping of a 17-year-old Garland County girl. 38-year-old Samuel Bowling Jr. and 19-year-old Dayla Ferrer were arrested early this morning. Both are charged with felony counts of kidnapping, aggravated robbery, battery, and false imprisonment. They're set to appear in court in less than an hour. The development comes hours after the 17-year-old was found safe. She was reportedly abducted after a woman asked to use her cell phone as she left work in downtown Hot Springs on Monday night. Now, we have some video to show you from the Cash and Carry liquor store on Central Avenue. Employees say the teen at the center of this Amber Alert walked in by herself at around 3 yesterday afternoon and just asked to call her mom. First responders then arrived and gave her medical attention, as store employees say she had blood in her hair.
I mean, she was shaken up for sure, she was a champ about it though. She was tough. She just came in, sat down, called, talked to her mom, and her family came up here, and I'm just glad she's okay, because like I said, everybody's been talking about this. It's been, Amber Alerts have been going off all day, and I didn't expect her to walk through the door.
Yesterday afternoon, police sent out information about a vehicle of interest. This is video you'll see only on THV11 as that car is being towed and eventually impounded. It was found about a block away from the Sun Bay Resort and was towed not long after a SWAT situation. We'll have more from today's court hearing and what we know about this investigation coming up on THV11 News at 5 and 6. Travelers no longer have to wear masks on airplanes and public transit, and the Centers for Disease Control is determining what the lack of a mask mandate could mean for the coronavirus pandemic. As Errol Barnett shows us, reaction is mixed.
In public transportation hubs across the country, travelers now have the option to go maskless. Uber and Lyft joined all U.S. airlines and Amtrak saying masks are now optional, while cities like Philadelphia and New York say the mandate will remain in place.
I think it should be up to what the person wants. I will probably wear it until I get on the plane, and then when I sit in my seat, I will take it off. President
Biden carefully weighed in Tuesday.
Mr. President, should people continue to wear masks on planes?
That's up to them.
Gannett Abate is an Uber driver in the D.C. area, thrilled to learn the rideshare service dropped its requirement.
I just want to feel free and breathe freely, feel very safe to not wear a mask.
Still, the 47% spike in COVID cases in just the last 14 days has some high-risk travelers on edge.
I'm concerned. I'm especially concerned about who I'll sit next to and if they'll be willing to wear a mask.
Gretchen Musa is one of 7 million Americans who are immunocompromised. But despite the risks, Musa is going to stick with her plans to visit her grandparents, who are both in their 90s, in California.
I needed to weigh whether if I didn't go see them, which might be the safer choice for my physical health, how much regret I would have later in life if I go through my life knowing that I wasn't able to be there for them.
Now, the CDC still recommends mask use while traveling on aircraft, but all the major airlines are now trying to figure out what to do about all those passengers previously banned for failure to comply to the federal rule. United Airlines, for example, says it will allow those passengers to return to its aircraft. It is deciding that on a case-by-case basis. Errol Barnett, CBS News at Reagan National Airport.
Meanwhile, the Biden administration says it's waiting on word from the CDC whether to appeal the ruling that overturned the federal mask mandate. The Justice Department will appeal the decision only if the CDC concludes masks are still necessary to protect public health. Officials in New York and Philadelphia are keeping local mask laws in place. Travelers still have to wear masks inside both cities' airports. The mask rule will also remain in place in New York City's subway. Here at Clinton National Airport, masks are no longer required. Ukraine's president says the situation in Mariupol is getting worse with hundreds of people wounded. Fighters there are resisting Russia's latest ultimatum for them to surrender, even as Russia continues its bombardment of the port city. Skylar Henry reports from the White House.
The Russian Defense Ministry released new video Wednesday of what it says is more than 1,000 attacks on Ukrainian targets. In the besieged city of Mariupol, Russian forces have surrounded the steel plant where Ukrainian soldiers and civilians have hunkered down. A Ukrainian Marine says, "We're facing our last days, if not last hours. The enemy outnumbers us 10 to 1. Russia is also intensifying its attacks on the eastern part of Ukraine. It's sending more forces to an area known as the Donbas region, which is important to Ukraine's economy. The U.S. is preparing a major new shipment of artillery and ammunition to Ukraine, rushing to get it there in time to be used against the Russian offensive.
We do the best we can with each package to tailor it to the need at the time. And now the need has changed because now the war has changed because now the Russians have prioritized the Donbas area, and that's a whole different level of fighting, a whole different type of fighting.
The UN says more than 5 million people have now fled the war-torn country, and what is Europe's worst refugee crisis since the end of World War II. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
A wildfire that has burned more than 6,000 acres near Flagstaff, Arizona is leading to evacuations for many people in that area. It was first reported on Sunday afternoon, but the wind continues to whip up the flames there. The fire was at around 11 acres, I should say, around noon Tuesday, but then grew an extra 2,000 acres by 3:30 Tuesday afternoon and 6,000 on Tuesday by 5 p.m. The cause of the tunnel fire is under investigation. Johnny Depp is expected back on the stand today in his defamation trial against former wife Amber Heard. The actor is suing Heard for $50 million, claiming she damaged his career by writing a Washington Post op-ed about surviving domestic violence. Heard has filed a $100 million countersuit against Depp. Two men accused of providing electronics and luxury housing to Secret Service agents are facing new weapons charges on top of charges for false impersonation of an officer or employee of the United States. Aryan Taher Jadeh and Hyder Ali were found to have a possession of a large capacity ammunition feeding device. Government officials allege the two compromised U.S. Secret Service personnel with access to the White House. Both defendants were released to home confinement pending trial. A new experimental blood test hopes to catch cancer in its early stages. The details after Nathan's forecast.
And still around the region, we are seeing some heavy rain, but there is some lull in the activity. I'll have a live look at radar and talk about some drier and warmer conditions going to the rest of the work week next.